A sensational report has claimed that within the next 8 years, India would emerge as the world's brightest manufacturing superpower. This report in the Economic Times claims India can not only become a $10 trillion economy by 2032, but also beat USA and China in terms of industrial production index, according to data collected by IDBI Capital. The report elaborates, quote, India to overtake top 5 economies in manufacturing IIP, USA, China, Germany, South Korea and Japan. India has the potential to grow on similar lines, supported by policy reforms and favorable business climate, unquote. India is expected to add $1 trillion to its GDP every 18 months, helping it secure its crown as the world's third largest economy by 2030. The report adds, quote, by adding $1 trillion every 1.5 years going forward, India is forecasted to emerge as the third largest global economy over the next 6 years, unquote. India's economic rise and accelerated growth will be led by manufacturing sector under the Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat campaigns, bolstering the nation's manufacturing capabilities and positioning India at the center of global supply chains. The manufacturing sector is projected to contribute 32% to the incremental gross value added over the coming years. A report by Boston Consulting Group and Matrix Partners indicated how semiconductors, electronics manufacturing, electric vehicles ecosystem, renewable energy and defense are all sunrise sectors which will play a crucial role in fueling manufacturing growth in India. Other factors include strong export potential and supportive government policies like the PLI or the production-linked incentive schemes. Reflecting a sharp uptick, a $3 trillion growth was recorded from just 2017 to 2020, while it took 63 years from 1947 to 2010 to record a GDP of $1 trillion. Supported by policy reforms, the report elaborates how India will surpass leading global economies, US, China, Germany, South Korea and Japan in the Industrial Production Index in less than 1 decade. At the same time, India has ruled out the possibility of any trade deal with its geopolitical rival China. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal explains why New Delhi rejected China-led RCEP, or the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. He explained, quote, India is not going to join the RCEP because neither did it reflect the guiding principles on which ASEAN was started, nor is it in the nation's interest to do a free trade agreement with China, unquote. The Indian Union Minister went on to slam Beijing for having a, quote, non-transparent economy with very opaque economic practices, unquote. Remember, the RCEP deal was signed by 15 Asia-Pacific countries in 2020. However, India pulled out and refused being a part of the pact, citing unresolved core issues with China. India has made one thing clear to China: border before broader and defense over economy, which means that ties will not return to normal unless the CCP learns to respect the LSE and border agreements with India. The bilateral relations between the two nuclear-armed powers nosedived, especially after the clashes in Galwan Valley in 2020, which resulted in the deaths of several soldiers on both sides. Infamous for not meeting quality standards, Goyal went on to accuse Beijing of taking undue advantage of the World Trade Organization's policies by flooding nations with low-quality products at cheap prices. Now, this is not the first time China has been criticized for exporting cheap goods, as the core criticism comes from the United States and the European Union, who claim that the CCP-led support for state-backed manufacturers, coupled with decreased domestic demand, triggered China to flood global markets with cheap goods. The West is attempting to reduce over-reliance on sourcing from China, leaving India in an advantageous position. The COVID-19 pandemic brought in geopolitical realignments, huge supply chain disruptions, and China's rising labor costs, which in turn prompted India's fast-track growth in becoming a manufacturing giant. In recent years, global tech titans including Google, Apple, Samsung, and Foxconn have all set up mega manufacturing plants in India. Geoffrey Garrett, Dean of the USC Marshall School of Business, hailed India's speed of economic growth and especially the power play of India's service sector. He added, quote, "The world economy is decentering. Everyone has a China Plus strategy, and China Plus, to my mind, is a big win for India," unquote. Meanwhile, US Ambassador to India Eric Garcetti explained that the White House considers India as a friend and a partner, and not just a counterbalance to China. Garcetti elaborated, quote, "We share the principles about borders and sovereignty, about the rule of law. Nobody should move ahead when their sovereignty is threatened. This is something that we respect and will follow India's lead in India's land," unquote. The big question remains, can India challenge China as the world's factory over the next few decades? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button, and remember to subscribe to Inconnect News.